Hello YouTube, PT Duckie here. Sorry I've been gone a while. I had a lot of things that had piled up on me, but I'm back now, so I'll be trying to post more videos from now on. So to start things off, here's a random doubles battle I had over Wi-Fi for the new Pokemon and Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games. Looking at my opponent's team, he has a solid OU team with either his Metagross, Mawile, Tyranitar, or Latios as his Mega Pokemon. Most don't bring regular Mawile though, so I figured that would be his Mega. I also don't usually see Rhyperior, so I wasn't sure what it would do. On my side, I have a decent UU team with Lopunny as my Mega. Now this battle is a bit long, so I'll try to speed things up for you guys. So, let's begin. So I start off with Emily my Donphan and Juice my Starmie, while he starts with his Tyranitar and Mawile. As he gets the sand up and the Intimidate goes off by the Mawile on both my Pokemon, I felt Florges would be better suited to handle things than Emily would. So I switch Emily out for Florges while the Mawile switches out for Gengar, which I found odd at the time. Juice uses Surf on the Gengar and Tyranitar for some heavy damage on the Gengar and some decent damage on the Tyranitar, but the Tyranitar uses Payback, which knocks Juice out. Concerned that things might be harder for me now, I had to start thinking about my plays. Once everybody takes sandstorm damage and Florges' leftovers go off, I bring Emily back in as I go for Protect on my Florges while the Gengar goes for Substitute. As the Tyranitar goes for Rock Slide, Florges is protected and Emily takes a small amount of damage as she goes for the knockoff to try and break the sub on the Gengar. Emily is able to get rid of the Substitute as everybody takes sandstorm damage again, and Florges' leftovers goes off as well as Emily's. My opponent then withdraws his Gengar for Death Fodder later in the battle, and he brings in his Rhyperior as Emily goes for Ice Shard, and Florges goes for Moonblast on the Tyranitar, while it then tries to set up its rocks. I'm not worried about the rocks, since I have no flying Pokemon on my side of the team, so most of my Pokemon will only take a little bit of damage from it. As both my Pokemon get their leftovers, my opponent then switches his Tyranitar out for his Metagross, as Florges goes for Protect and Emily does Earthquake, which does a decent damage on both his Pokemon. The Rhyperior then uses Stone Edge, but Florges is protected as the Sandstorm hits again and the leftovers goes off. I then decide to switch my Florges out for my Goodra, seeing as the Metagross was in. As Gumi takes Stealth-Rock damage, and the Metagross goes for Meteor Mash, trying to hit my Florges, but hits Gumi instead, Emily goes for Knockoff on the Metagross to knock off its item, as the Rhyperior goes for Mega Horn on Emily for some decent damage. As Sandstorm and leftovers go off again, my opponent withdraws his Rhyperior for his Mawile, and gets the Intimidate off on my Pokemon. The Metagross then goes for Protect as Gumi goes for Thunderbolt on it. Emily does Earthquake again and gets a critical hit on the Mawile for some heavy damage, although Gumi faints from the Earthquake. I then bring in Makuto, my Lopunny, after sand and leftovers go off, and decide this is a good opportunity to Mega Evolve her, that way she can dish in some good hard hits on my opponent's Pokemon. But the Mawile goes for Protect, which blocks Emily's Ice Shard, while Makuto then goes for Fire Punch on the Metagross to finish it off, as yet again the sand and the leftovers go off. At this point, he then brings in his Latios, while his Mawile finally Mega Evolves in the Mega Mawile. Though I thought he should have done that a turn or two or so ago. He tries to Sucker Punch Emily, but misses because Emily Ice Shards the Latios first, for some decent damage, as it Shy Shocks Makoto to take her out. This time around, though, the Sandstorm finally subsides, as Emily gets her leftovers off, and I bring in my Florges. As the Stuff Rocks go off, my opponent withdraws his Latios, and to my dismay, brings in his Tyranitar to set up the sand again to get that small chip damage, as my Florges goes for Protect, but the Mawile protects as well, as Emily goes for Earthquake, which nearly takes out the Tyranitar, as the sand goes off again and both Florges and Emily's leftovers go off. This time, though, as to keep Florges' HP up, and to be able to take these two Pokemon out, Florges sets up a wish as the Tyranitar does payback on Emily. As Emily does Earthquake, she is able to take out the Mawa and the Tyranitar, and Florges is able to live on it. This means no more setting up the Sandstorm when it runs out this time. Once again with sand and leftovers going off, my opponent decides to bring in his Latios and his Gengar this round. Not sure what this Gengar wants to do, I decide it's the first thing that must go, so Flora just goes for Protect, as Emily goes for Ice Shard to finish the Gengar off, while the Latios tries to attack my Florges with Shy Shot. As Florges is buffered by the Sandstorm, her wish comes true and her HP rises as both her and Emily get their leftovers off. At this point, my opponent brings in his Rhyperior as his Latios goes for Side Shock on my Florges to take a large chunk of HP out on her. As Florges goes for Moonblast on Rhyperior, Emily is able to finish it off with the critical hit. As the Rhyperior goes down on my opponent's side of the field, all my opponent has left is his Latios, which means this battle is in my hands. As Latios and Florges are hit by the sand and the leftovers go off, Florges uses Protect as the Latios goes for Side Shock on Emily instead. Emily then uses Knock Off, which almost takes it out and knocks off his Choice Scarf, as the sand dwindles it down a little bit more. At this point, the battle is pretty straightforward as I finish off this Latios. So if you like this battle, leave a like and comment below, and tell me where I can improve, and I'll try to get some more battles to you guys in the next couple of days. Until then, guys, bye!